In this video, we're going to be taking our DMP geometry and a shadow caster object and aligning it with the shadows in our film footage. Then we're going to be using that to create a shadow mask inside Photoshop. This is Garrett Fry, a 3D DMP lead at the VFX Horde, and this is an excerpt from the Cemetery Sequence Training. Sequence trainings are a simulated VFX studio training experience where you get access to film footage, tracked cameras, assets, all within a VFX pipeline. The VFX Horde is here to fill in your skills and knowledge gaps that's holding you back from full-time VFX employment or moving forward in your career. Now, on to the training. So you can see I'm using the shot camera to line this up. So if we take a look at that, those basically track to the camera. We don't need it to be super exact. We're just going to use this as reference. But let's say we grab this whole guy here and just moved it right there so it lines on this frame. And like I said, we're just using this for these shadow shapes, and they don't have to be perfect. They just need to be an approximation and have a feeling that it's true and correct. And we get that from getting a directional light and having it actually cast on this shape right here. So let's go ahead and bring up our render view and take a look and see if we have the right shadows here. So let's go ahead. So that gives us some pretty cool shadow shapes that go up onto the object. That's pretty cool. So what we can do at this point to check the angle of our light and the angle of these shadow shapes is that we can align it with the plate. So to do that, what I'm going to do is create a new shader, and I'm going to create a Lambert shader. So normally when I'm doing a projection setup, it's going to be with the projection image, and I'm going to be using a surface shader so that that does not accept any light information. But what I'm trying to do here, where I'm just trying to line up the light, I don't actually need that surface shader. I need a Lambert so that it will take that lighting and that shadowing information. So right here on the Lambert, I'm going to go over here to color, and I'm going to right click this and say create as projection. And on this, I'm going to select the projection node here, set it up so that it is perspective. And then the camera that I want to link to is actually the shot camera. So I'm going to link that to the shot camera there. I'm going to set this as horizontal for the fill type. And then right here, I'm going to put in the film footage. And then I'm going to say use image sequence. So now I have a projection set up that's using an image sequence through the shot camera. And then I'm just going to create here a polygon plane and open that up there. And I'm going to roughly align it with our projection geometry, which is at 0, which is just fine. And then I'm going to apply the shader that we have just created to this object. Okay, so now we have a card and we have our shadows being projected on that card, and we can see it from any frame here. Okay, so let's go back to our last frame here. And take a look. So here's our Arnold render. I'm just going to take this group right here, and I'm going to hide it. So you can see they're coming in at this angle right here. And so if we show that, we can see our fence is coming at a way more extreme angle than that. So let's select our light source here, and let's just spin it around here. So now it's coming at this angle right here. So let's hide that that group again. and see if we have it about right. Okay, so that to me seems pretty well aligned right there. So let's go ahead and set this up to render. So in our prism shelf, I'm going to pull up the states manager, and let's go ahead and select our new geometry. I'm going to say render. I'm just going to include all those default passes. I'm going to say light mask right there. I'm going to disable our other image render for our projection setup so that we're just publishing this render right there. And I'm going to call this our shadow mask on grave marker. I'm going to pick our projection camera, and our frame range is going to be 1001 to 1001. Okay. Let's just double check that our render resolution is correct. So yeah, that is the new projection render size for that. So let's just go ahead and make sure all the things that are there should be there. So let's go ahead and hide that and take a look through our Arnold render view. So now that those have both been published, let's just check them in the project browser. And we can see here light mask. If it doesn't show up for you automatically, then just click refresh tasks. So we have our two versions here, one without the fence and one with the fence. And if we take a look at the diffuse pass here, you see that we have our grayscale image right there. And also on this one here. So now we can take these images into Photoshop, use them as a mask in an adjustment layer to control the shadow and light side of our obelisk that we've laid over with our photography. So I have our Photoshop file here with our obelisk and our quick color grades that we did. So that's the image before our color grades. That's it before all the patches that we added. This is the 3D model. There's our patches. And then there are our quick color grades. So the point of this exercise of going through and getting these shadow masks is to get something more sophisticated than the quick mask that I painted. So this is the light mask that I created, and I think that out of this 3D render, we're going to get something a lot better. So I have pulled up all of our images for our mask, and then I'm going to just drag it into our document here. So if we take a look at that, it's coming in, looks like it's coming in at the correct place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to load this grayscale image in as a selection. So to do that, I'm going to go over to my channels menu here. And on a Mac, I'm pressing Command. And I believe on a PC, it is either Alt or Control. If you click that, it's going to give you the marching ants around your selection. And then right here, I'm going to replace this guy. So I'm going to duplicate that layer, turn it off. I'm going to trash this mask. And I'm going to press this mask button down here to load it into that spot. So that's the complete process of taking your photogrammetry model, putting in a light, and aligning it with objects in your scene so that it aligns with what you have going on in the plate, and then rendering that out and using it as a mask in Photoshop. Thanks for watching. For more training videos, head over to VFXHorde.com.